how do we get here? Hello and welcome to Flywheel Films. My name is Austin, and if you came looking for track footage, stay tuned. We got a video coming for that. This video is actually about the prep that we put into our cars prior to the track day that we did at Miatas summer camp. As much as we would have liked to just show up to Grand Junction with our cars, we wanted to make sure that our cars were ready for the heat and the abuse that comes with a track day, especially one in Grand Junction. And thanks to our friends at Miata, we were able to do some track-focused upgrades and service on our cars. Let's jump back to a couple days before the track day, where we're in a hurry trying to get everything done.
So as part of our prep for this epic track day, we did request some upgrades from Miata. These are the HP Plus High Performance Improved Disc Brake Pads. I've been rocking slotted rotors, stainless steel lines, awesome fun video on installing those, but actually had stock pads. So I'm excited to use some upgraded pads, which I desperately need because, again, the car makes like 100 more horsepower than stock. And suddenly my braking requirements went up. So I'm excited to use these and try them out. They also have EBC, I believe, green stuff and red stuff. I've heard good things about those as well. In fact, Manny in there also uses red stuff. Luke even uses red stuff on his German cars. But I actually was interested in these. I heard they do quite well, but I think it does leave some brake dust, which a lot of high performance pads will do. It's just a different compound, and that should really help with the stopping power. I'm not too worried about brake dust. I'm rocking gunmetal wheels, which means the brake dust will blend right in theory. But you know what? I'm going to deal with brake dust because I need stopping power. They also included 4 bottles of this DOT4 brake fluid, the Dynolite, Europe's classic motor oil. This is for automotive brake and clutch fluid, so you could use this for clutch as well, I guess. But I'm using DOT4. They also have DOT5, but as far as I can tell, DOT4 is what I can go with. That's what I've used before. And that way, when we bleed the system, we can actually retain DOT4. That way, if we don't get every single bit out, I'm not really concerned about mixing. I don't know if that's a big deal, but I just like to play it safe. So they sent some DOT4 brake fluid as well. I still have the stainless steel lines. My rotors are totally fine, the slotted rotors. So the combo of everything should be awesome. Unfortunately, at that moment, the rear pads were out of stock. So I'm just rocking the rear stock pads, but a lot of the braking, well, most of the braking performance does come from the front. You brake, the weight of the car is thrown forwards. Your front brakes really do a lot of the work. So gonna be rocking just front pads and also the new oil, or yeah, I guess it is fluid, brake oil, I don't know. It is oil, it's fluid, whatever. Rocking that as well. So everything together should make me feel better on track in just a couple days. One of those when you're in there moments, do an oil change. Car's off the ground, may as well.
The precision. You can see him operating has an absolute limit. Just leave enough for the eggs in the morning in the bottom, that's all.
Are we sponsored by Kirkland?
We may as well be at this point. What other company can you buy your car parts and also your dinner from?
The dinner night, also Costco, you know what I mean?
Good enough? Good enough. That's what they call early Tesla build quality spec. Good enough?
Good enough.
Actually, that's probably a stretch.
That'll sell.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
That'll sell to the early adopters.
Now let's install the Hawk brake pads. Unfortunately, the install day was extremely hectic. As you saw, we had a lot going on.
All right, so we have coilover tightening, brake pad replacement, and oil change happening all at the exact same time. And windshield washer fluid reservoir cap replacement because the original is currently being melted by the turbo that is nearby.
There's no such thing as too many cooks.
Nah. Hey, wait, speaking of, you guys hungry?
So we did not get a step-by-step guide on how to replace your front brake pads. So I'll just give you a really quick narrated overview of how to do it, supplemented with some fun B-roll we had from that day. So to remove your caliper, you only have to undo 2 bolts, the top and the bottom caliper bolts. Jordan did not have to remove his caliper bracket because he is just reusing his rotors. They had plenty of life left on them and there wasn't any bad lip on the inside or outer edge. After you get your caliper bolts off, it's a good idea to make sure that the slide pins can move freely. If not, I'd take them out and re-grease them. Once the caliper is off, be mindful to not stretch or dangle the caliper from its brake line. That can be damaging to the brake line. You definitely don't want to do that. And then you want to compress the caliper piston. A very pro tip here is take the lid off of your brake fluid reservoir while you do this and make sure that the reservoir does not overflow while you're pushing the caliper piston back in. If it is about to overflow, get a turkey baster and just take some of that fluid out and put it in a clean container because you may need it after you pump the brakes and get that fluid back in the system. Unless you're doing a brake fluid flush, we'll get to that in a bit. Now that your caliper is ready to go, let's get the pads put in place. So because, like I said, we're reusing the rotors that were on there, all you have to do here is just make sure you remove the little metal clips that are sitting on the caliper bracket, install the new ones, and it's not a bad idea to use the supplied grease with the brake pads on any surfaces where the pad is meeting another metal component. So in this case, that's going to be where the pad rests in the caliper bracket, and then it's not a bad idea also to put that grease on the back of the brake pad where it meets the caliper itself.
This is like Interstellar over here.
After your brake pads are put into place, make sure you install the caliper and you torque your caliper bolts to spec. I will put the torque specs on the screen here.
All right, one of those while you're in there things. Custom shift knob topper for this, I don't even know what brand, I forget what brand.
CravenSpeed.
CravenSpeed, right. CravenSpeed sent this over, absolutely sick. Austin, do you have a similar one?
I have the same one.
Same one, but
5-speed.
Now people will know how many gears I have when they get in here. That's actually like the first question anyone asked, which is appropriate. You should always ask if you're driving a manual, A, how do you reverse? And B, if I go into reverse, is it actually 6th?
He's not even doing star pattern, are you kidding?
Hey, I'm not torquing yet.
First time? Jeez. Yeah, what's the spec on these?
3-inch pounds.
Manny, what do you think the spec is on the shift knob screws?
98 maybe?
98?
Yeah, that sounds about right for Manny.
Gee, he putting you on blast, dude. Now that the brake pads are all done, and of course our little side quests are done as well, let's get to the last bit of the braking system, brake fluid. Brake fluid is really put through its paces on a track day. It's going to see temperatures that it likely would not in your regular day-to-day driving. That's why getting a fluid with a higher boiling point is definitely advisable. It will allow your brake system to function as it should through harsh braking scenarios like you would experience on track. Like Jordan said earlier, we're going to be using the Dynolite .4 fluid from Moss in both of our cars to make sure that our cars are up for the challenge of a track day in Grand Junction in the summer. Really, the only compromise with .4 is it can get moisture in it a little bit faster than .3, but the higher boiling point is definitely worth the trade-off if you plan on tracking your car. Look at this apparatus.
So this is how we brew beer. I mean, this is how we bleed the brakes.
It's IPA in there.
Yeah.
It's a hazy.
So this is a West Coast.
It's full of water. It's actually all water.
They said to rinse your brakes before you bleed.
So, what's the definition of I digress? This is a power bleeder, which is a fantastic device that Luke has brought. He sold his Miata, but we still hang out with him because he has cool tools.
Do you say because he has a cool tool?
He is a cool tool.
He's a cool tool.
Yeah, so we have the system that screws onto the brake reservoir, and we were debating, and if you know in the comments, let us know whether it should be the rear right or rear left caliper that gets bled first, because you want to do what's furthest away, the longest brake line. But what the issue is the reservoir is here, the ABS is there, and so right, is that?
Yeah. ABS is right back in there.
Yeah.
So, which is longer?
IDK.
Who knows?
Or does it matter?
Does it matter at all? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So we're basically, putting new fluid through and bleeding it out through the corners.
This is neat though, because it keeps Jordan from getting a leg workout, having to 1, 2, 3, hold. And
Yeah, I guess there's other ways to do it. I haven't done much brake bleeding, so.
yeah, this is saves the leg workout and just goes a lot faster. So
So it's really not too hard. I mean, you take an 8 mil, break this loose, which shouldn't be too tight. Mine was tight, so whoever did this last time did it too tight. But then this just drains into the bottle, and we've collected half a bottle so far.
We did a full bottle on the other side.
Full bottle on the other side.
obviously having something like the power bleeder can make this job go a lot easier. We just repeated that process on every single caliper. Really all you need to do is just bleed the system until you start to see the new fluid come through. That is typically going to be dictated by the color of the fluid. The darker and cloudier it is, usually the older it is. Just make sure you know what the new fluid looks like so you can identify it coming through. If you don't have something like the power bleeder, there are tons of resources out there that show you how to bleed brakes manually. It is still quite easy, just a little bit more time consuming, and you do need multiple people to do it.
All right, so as you guys can see by the garage floor, it wasn't a perfect process, but to be fair, that's a mix of brake fluid, but also previous oil stain from the oil change last night. So, which actually in fairness is all the fault of that oil reservoir. The oil reservoir thing that doesn't seal properly. So just some garage floor cleaning to figure out. Maybe I'll do a video on that someday. But this thing, fantastic. Shout out to Luke who brought this over. This power bleeder, hydraulic brake and clutch pressure bleeder. Say that 5 times fast. It says you can bleed brakes like the pros. I would agree. Now we're not pros, but if we had to do it again, well, I guess a third time, because we did it on my car and your car, and we still didn't quite get it figured out. I think we could do it much better, because that, pump it, you can see the pressure. It attaches directly onto the brake fluid reservoir. Then you can pump it to all 4 corners, bleed it out the bleeder nipple thing, which Austin's, by the way, one of his nipples didn't actually properly bleed.
It was clogged.
It was clogged, so we're trying to figure out how to unclog it, but he went to O'Reilly's or something, AutoZone. They're the same thing. Whoa. Hot boys. And he was able to get all that sorted and found a new one, put it in, properly bled it. It all worked out. So brakes are feeling good, ready for some track time. We're really just safe daily driving time as well. That's a good thing. And I think we're calling it a night.
The last item on our track day prep checklist is my coolant expansion tank. In the NC Miata world, the coolant expansion tank is often the first recommended mod for a lot of folks. The plastic coolant expansion tank that is equipped from the factory has a tendency to yellow, and it can become brittle over time. And the story goes that if it is too brittle, it will break or crack, and coolant will obviously go everywhere and be not in your engine where it should be, which can then lead to your engine exploding. While there aren't a lot of first-hand accounts of this actually happening, I think the couple $100 cost of the coolant expansion tank in a lot of people's mind is worth the possible downside of a couple $1,000s of an engine rebuild. Because I'm taking my car on track and the expected temperatures are going to be much higher than both me and my car are used to, I thought this would be a great idea to replace prior to this track day. Moss sent out their IL Motorsports coolant expansion tank for me. It's a full polished metal unit. I'll show you the install on it really quick. It is extremely straightforward. I'll just give you a couple quick notes during the install. Removing your coolant expansion tank is actually quite straightforward. There's only 3 nuts holding it to the vehicle, and then there are 3 hoses attached to it as well, 2 on top and 1 underneath. There's 1 other little hose on top, that's just your overflow. The correct order of operations to remove it, at least what I had luck with, was removing the 2 hoses on the top first, and then removing the 3 nuts, and then lifting up the tank and removing the lower hose. This is the one that is definitely prone to make a mess. It's best to have a friend help with this, and then tilting the tank on its side as quickly as you can so you're not going to lose all of that coolant on the ground. During the unboxing here, there's not a whole lot going on. It's just the tank and the box. A cap is not included, and I definitely recommend picking up a new cap. Moss sells the Gates cap, which is a great brand. These are technically wearable items because they do have springs in them because the system is pressurized. So definitely a good idea to grab one of these at the same time as your new coolant expansion tank. The reinstallation process is just the exact reverse of the uninstall. You're going to start with this lower hose. It's definitely handy to have a friend here to help. Once this lower hose is attached, you're going to then use the 3 nuts to attach it to the body of the vehicle. And then from there, attach your 2 hoses on the side. And then last but not least, your little overflow hose on top of that. Now the coolant that was in my car appeared to be pretty fresh, so I decided to put what was left in my coolant expansion tank back into the new one. And then the remaining coolant that I lost during this process, I filled back up with some brand new Valvoline green Xerox coolant that is specified for the Miata. The quality on this tank is fantastic. I do have one gripe with it though. It does not have a seeing eye glass or window on the side of it. So while the car is at temp and the coolant system is pressurized, you're unable to open the cap and see what level you're at. So that's really my only complaint with this. The build quality is great. It fit great. Everything else about it was as expected. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Obviously, we didn't cover every little thing that you should do before you take your car to the track, but braking and cooling systems are a great place to start. If you want to see more track prep videos in the future, let us know. I wouldn't mind making some more in-depth videos about everything you need to do on your car prior to a track day. There is a whole lot more content coming from both this trip and just some other stuff we've been working on in the background. So stay tuned, subscribe if you're not, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.